Hey everybody, welcome to Mammoth Interactive's YouTube channel. First of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. And remember that this channel doesn't do Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital courses down below. And every single dollar that we get from the products you buy below goes into making more content. The best way to help out this channel and Mammoth Interactive is to subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. Get thousands of hours and hundreds of courses for a low price down below. We have a monthly option and a yearly option. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the video.
Hi, welcome to the Financial Analysis course. This course will start with the free financial statements, which are the most used worldwide. So we will talk about P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow. As you can see, for each type of report, we will go into details for data source or P&L. Then we'll start with how to create a P&L simple structure. We will present many versions. In fact, there will be 2 versions, but we will choose one. We will talk about that in details. Then we will see how to add data to the P&L, calculating also the variances. And for sure, in the future videos, we will talk about the other reports like balance sheet and cash flow. Each of them has a big importance in a finance world and in every company. The balance sheet structure and how to add values on BS from different files formats. And then in terms of cash flow, we will see the main 3 categories of cash flow and then how to calculate. In the second part, we will see the forecast with different scenarios, and here we have different Excel finance methods, which are linked to those 3 financial statements above. Fixed asset roll forward, main KPI in the finance world, loan schedule, AR management basics, linked to the customer rank. And here, let's see how each company shows for the global world when they have transactions. So a company, the top one is the general image. And here we see only the public figures or number of employees, size, and so on. But then when we go in the, let's say, lower levels, we talk about processes, because any company contains a process, or at least one process. Then each process can be split into many actions. And these actions are the base transactions in a company. That's why in this course, we will go from up to down by learning the great image, the big picture of each company, which is the P&L, and then go into the processes by a balance sheet terms and values, which would include different actions like money recover, increasing cash flow, loan schedule from banks, and so on. So, get ready to learn. Hope you will enjoy. Thank you for watching. And in the next video, we will talk about why you should learn this financial analysis course. Head on over there. Hi. In this video, we'll see why you should learn financial analysis. In my point of view, the finance world is the middle of any business. That's why I say that finance is the start and finance is the end. And why? Because any company, from the moment it was born based in an investment side of a share person. And that's why you need to know finance, or at least have the basics. Then, when the company grows, they start to purchase things. They start to transport and move from the left to the right and so on. They are present on the market side. They start to create employees, places, operational processes, sales processes, and finally, they need money. So the finance is the middle of the world for any business. That's why, from my point of view, this course will help you. Even if you are not an experienced person at accounting or any finance or any other job, you will be very prepared after this course to deal with many terms in any company. Because here you'll see that for finance, they are placed in any company. For example, a small company, maybe just like in this image, they don't need a special department of HR, or let's say informatics technology, because they can export the services, but finally they will need an accountant. They will need a finance guy or someone that should supervise the transactions, or at least the shareholder should have the knowledge of how to supervise the transactions in order to bring profit to the company. Because mainly, this is the target for any person that gives a company work. So, in other words, in this course, you will see that you can learn the main or the basics of our free financial statements worldwide. And for that point, you can start with different details linked to those three statements. And in the second section, you will see that each of these departments can have their own finance analysis. Even if you talk about purchase, and even if we talk about sales or operational, because each transaction states an amount of money. Thank you for watching. Hope you will enjoy, and see you in the next video where we will talk about the Instructor. Head on over there. Hi. In this video, we will talk about the Instructor of this course. So I am Mihai, and I am with Mammoth Interactive for this financial analysis course. And I have more than 10 years as an Excel user. And I started with a 2003 version where things were a little bit difficult in terms of formulas and functions, comparing with the older versions of Excel. I've been working since 2007 in the finance industry, and that's why I think that is the main reason that I was interested in this course. I like to be in a continuous improvement because in our days, if you lose time, you lose money. just like this image, from finance, you need to interact with the controlling and credit. And these are the domains where I have some experience. And here we will develop in the next videos. I always try to simplify processes because I always like to improve. So these two lines are very linked in a strict link. And in my opinion, from year to year, it's better to continue to learn, because otherwise other people will come and take your front. The credit and controlling experience gave me the possibility to watch a company from a different point of view in a different timeline. So the credit is more linked to the sales processes, and the controlling is linked to the whole company results. I always try to keep up to date, and meaning that, for example, with Excel, if in 2015 we worked based on some different steps to achieve a goal or to just simply create our tasks, now in 2019 or in 2020, we are ready to work less in terms of timing for the same task that we worked on 5 or 6 years ago. Meaning it's very important to learn anytime you're interacting with softwares or, let's say, hardwares, to learn and read about them, because in our days, the technology is very important. So this is the best way you can provide the best results on your job. So finance, from my point of view, and in my case, is the core and should be always fulfilled with credit and controlling tasks. For sure, we have the accounting part, which is sometimes the smallest part. But starting with accounting transactions, we can develop the controlling part, because the controlling part always will tell us if a budget is in a wrong direction or in a good one. And that's why the accounting transactions must be very correctly booked in order to give us the correct budget when you have the controlling reports. And that is my experience. And I work with different departments. I like to communicate with people. I like to learn from them. And anytime when I have the possibility, I really, really link the information that I received with my tasks. And if there is a 1% way of improving the timeline or the results, I always apply them, even if probably for the first impact, I will spend more time to modify them. But then, just like an investment, you will invest 3 hours and develop things, but then in the next year, you will win maybe 10 or 15 minutes per day. And that can bring you a great added value for your job. That's me, and I hope this course will, let's say, reach your final goal to learn about some finance basics and how to deal with the biggest report in terms of worldwide usage. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video, where we will talk about the requirements of this course, head on over there. Hi. In this video, we'll see which are the requirements for our course of financial analysis. First, we need an Excel version, and for this, you have mainly two ways of purchasing it. The first one is the Office package, the simple Office package, which can be paid once, and you have a for life license, but it comes with no security updates. You can use it on only one device. You will not have apps or cloud, so you cannot store any other files or any file into the cloud. And Microsoft will not offer you technical support. The other version for the Office package, you can do many things. So the basic things, or let's say the fundamental things, you can do it with also the Office package, and especially with the 365 subscription, which is the second version of Excel. And you can purchase it if you pay a monthly fee. So you have this version, or probably you can pay also once per year. It depends. But here you have some security updates. You have the possibility to install and to use the same license on many devices. You can use some apps, because here you look into the insert area, you have some add-ins, apps, and also different other Microsoft Store apps. And here, comparing with the Office package, you have up to 1 terabyte on the cloud. Another point, and an important one, is that you can get in this version technical support from the Microsoft team. In the second part of this video, let's start and present what are the needs in terms of finance, because we're talking about a financial analysis course for sure. It's, let's say, a plus, so it's not something that you cannot live without. So accounting basics, and here we can talk about some basic account numbers, some basic account types, and 1+1, just the basics of accounting. Then we have an Excel main formulas and tabs content, meaning that it's okay to start this course when you know about let's say, the main tabs, insert tab, data tab, or view tab, because you can play, and we will play with different functions from these menus. And also we have the pivot table, which is also present in our course. Then, in the last part of our course, it will be easier if you will have some basic knowledge about credit. And here we talk about accounts receivable, we talk about due date and net sales. So the basics of the credit activities that comes along with different other key performance indicators that we will develop in this course. So also in this video, we'll see what are the main free financial statements worldwide. We have Pnl, we have balance sheet, and cash flow. But here, it's very important just to know about them, and we will try and hope to succeed to enter in details of each of these statements. And you will see in the next videos. So, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video, where we will start with section 2, meaning we will start with those 3 financial statements worldwide. Head on over there. Hi, welcome to section 2. In this section, we will start to learn the main financial statements. First, P&L, profit and loss. This is the most important report, especially for finance departments, in terms of operating results or net results, also known for net profit. Here we can have operational like Ebitda, and also you can go into the revenue or the final net income. Then we will make some comparisons with last year, and we've got the target setups set up by our management. So this is the P&L, start with the revenues, and after the costs, we will obtain the final results. After the first P&L report, we'll go to balance sheet. Balance sheet is mainly used by an accounting team, and for sure, it's linked to our P&L. But in terms of figures, we'll talk about that later. Now, it's important to know that in this section, we will see how to create a BS template, even if we receive 2 different files from our accounting. Finally, we'll go into the cash flow, which is the 3rd financial statement worldwide. And this report can show us if the company is in line or if it goes into bankruptcy. So the cash flow always must respect the main rule, and we will learn about this here into the cash flow and not go into focus into the figures, just like we will do on the BS on the P&L, but we will pay attention to the principle. Thank you for watching, and in the next video, we will start with the P&L basics. So head on over there. Hi, in this video, we'll see how to prepare data for a P&L. Basically, each company worked with different operating systems that can give them an export, a file, or let's say Excel or CSV or such files in order to prepare different types of reports. In this video, we'll see how to create the base of a P&L. In our case, we have an export from an accounting system containing the date of each accounting transaction, document number, third part code that can be the customer or a supplier, or let's say a simple depreciation transaction or amortization. Here we have the account number, description, amount, and cost center or profit center. The difference between cost center and profit center is that the profit center gives us also a clear image about the revenues, comparing with cost center, where probably this term is used in most cases when a company, let's say, buys another company or creates a separate unit and has a need to supervise the costs. Now we can try to enter in some details in terms of database, because here we have some clear samples, so nothing real, but it's very different from file to file. Meaning you can have many other columns like details, a rough description like product descriptions, like product category, line product details. So you can have many columns, but in our sample, I took a simple one in order to focus on our P&L. So basically, if you want to prepare a P&L, you need to have the clear files extracted, or at least created by the accounting team or by your controlling team. It depends by company. But most of our cases from the real world is that the accounting team exports some files from the system and they send it to the controlling or to the finance manager. And from there, it will start the process of the P&L. P&L is the most important statement report near balance sheet and cash flow, but P&L gives us a clear image about the company finance. So P&L comes from profit and loss, and here in this type of report, you can see if the company got profit or if it's in a bad status. Now, let's take a look at the transactions. We have 2018 and also 2019 in terms of documents with different letters in front and also a different account number. The most important thing is that you need to create a mapping between your account number and your category from the Pnl report. And for this, I've created this sheet where we want to put some details regarding statement mapping, and in this way, it will help us to create, let's say, the starting point from our Pnl structure. Now, it's important to know your accounting number. In our case, we will just copy this column, column D, and paste it in the next sheet in a paste value way. Then we will try to remove the duplicates. Let's see, account number, okay. And here, Excel wrote us that from 70 duplicates, we have now 26 unique values. And that's, here's an error. I will erase this. It's the same count. So we have account number, and now we can sort them from smallest to largest because we have a sample of account. Your accounting can be very different. You can have, let's say, numbers. You can have a series with 4 or 5 numbers. It's very difficult to create a standard in our case. But anyway, you should have account number mapping with your P&L categories. And you'll see in the next minutes, we'll see the categories. Here we have account number from 610. And if you take a look on the 610, let's take a look. 610 are some operating transactions. So it represents some costs for us, and we'll write here operating costs or operational costs. Let's say operational costs. Good. And here we have, and we know also from our accounting team and from our controlling team, But the operational costs are from 610 to 615. And let's play with a filter, 610 to 615. And you'll see that we have operating transactions. And also there are some account numbers from 616 to 619, which are also, let's say, in a total operational costs, but it represents D and A. D and A is another category from our P&L. It represents depreciation and amortization for the company. So here we'll have operational costs, and then we will have the depreciation and amortization. Good. We'll copy, and then we have 711, which is an account for sales. So our net sales are representing from accounting list number from 711 to 715. And as you can see, we have different sales on different periods. And right here, we have net sales, 715. And then we have another category, which is 716. And in our case, we have the purchase. It's basically the next level on our profit and loss structure. After net sales, we have the cost of goods sold. So we have COGS. And the last category is linked to the finance costs. And we're going to write here, it's financial costs. So these are financial costs. Here we can have interests or taxes. As you can see, we have finance and we have interest and taxes, some letters that can give us a clear image about the category. So this is basically the P&L category. Now we have a clear image of our categories and we can map with this account number. So as you can see, we have a big list here with different transactions. And here we have the summary with our account number near P&L category. And now we're going to add some columns in order to create the Pnl structure. Here we have the first important thing, which is linked to the date. And here we should have month and year. Here we can use some simple formulas like month and year of column A. So equal month, column A. So Excel will give us a strange format, but we will deal with it. And here we have year for A2, and we'll copy the formula. So here it looks better, but here we can change the format by going home, and on the number, we just change it to number or to text. It's up to you. I used to change into number format because in the pivot table, it will be sorted. Let's say you can press Control Shift and 1 and then decrease the symbol. So here we've prepared the base of our P&L. The last step is to bring the P&L category. I will try to decrease this text to have more space. And here we will have P&L. So P&L, I will copy the format, and here we'll have the VLOOKUP function. Based on our account number, it will bring me the P&L category from the next sheet. So we have column number 2, bring me the exact, and close the brackets. Here we go. Copy to the end. And we have an error here and here because it's something linked to that 721 and 720. I would put manually, we know that it's 720. Good. Now, the last thing is to check that we don't have any more errors in our mapping. And then select the column, copy, and paste value just to erase the formula. And here, we can use the same method. Now, we have the new file that can help us to start the Pnl structure. So we know that each account number represents a category from our Pnl. So in the next step, we will try to write the new Pnl file with a new structure from 0 in order to be more clear. So the summary is that each company should have an extract of their transactions from accounting. It's the only way that you can start to work manually in a Pnl. For sure, you will find programs that can export you the direct Pnl reports, but many companies, the smallest, or let's say a medium company in terms of size and number of employees, are able to export direct reports containing the Pnl. Most of them are using Excel to create the Pnl reports or linked reports. So it's very important to know that in order to create a Pnl, you need those transactions from the accounting team or from the finance team. And then you should try to find a mapping tool, mapping a way between your Pnl accounts and accounting number. You can have many accounting numbers if you work in a big company, which is worldwide. You will see that it's possible to have the account number in terms of local accounting laws. And you can also have another account, which is for the company group statement. So you can have different columns with different rows, but it's important for you to create a mapping tool based on the transaction type. In our case, we have sales, we have purchase, so COGS, which is cost of goods sold, and also we have some operational costs or operating expenses. You can find this term and also D&A, which is the depreciation and amortization. So the last thing is to work with interest and taxes. And here we can find the banks or other insurance companies and so on. But mainly, these are the financial costs. Good. So in the next video, we'll start to create from 0 the Pnl structure, and we'll then try to populate and play with it, customize it in order to create a clear report about our company. Head on over there. Hi. In this video, we will start to create the structure of a Pnl report. We saw that we need to have the transactions from our operating system or from our ERP, because this is the main point of our start, because otherwise we cannot create a Pnl. A Pnl is linked to all those transactions from revenue, net sales, COGS, operational costs, depreciation and amortization, and finance costs. All of this will help us to create the P&L. Mainly the P&L can have many forms, but globally, there are a few report templates that you can find. We will talk in this video about many options or many ways to create and to structure a P&L. So after we have obtained from the accounting or from the finance team all these transactions and account numbers, then we made the statement mapping, and the last step is to create a Pnl structure. Here, I have modified the name of the category of depreciation, and instead of depreciation and amortization, I have wrote it as DNA. It's simple and it's short. Also, we can do for operational costs, we can put only up costs because there are many different ways of those categories. We can find op costs, operating expenses, and so on. The main idea is that the level of operational is the first in terms of costs after the gross margin, because we will see that in the P&L, we have the first level, which is the big, let's say the big figure, and is the net sales, the revenue, and we will start to structure the P&L by this amount. And we will see here net sales is the first level. The next one from our transactions, we have also cost of goods, meaning that when we completed those sales, we had some costs in order to complete the sales. So the first cost in the process of sales is the cost of goods sold. We have COGS. Then the first level is the sum of them. We will try to keep the costs with minus, and also the revenue will be with plus. That's why when we make the first sum, we have gross margin or also gross profit. So we'll try to make the same step into another template. For example, here we have revenues, then we have COGS. This is the most common name, but then we can have gross profit. This will be version 1, and this will be version 2. Now, we can try to continue and put the first sum. Okay, so this will be equal with sum of D5 and D6. Copy the formula, and here we go. Good. The next level, we'll start with operating expenses. We can find it in different ways. In our case, we will take the up costs, let's say up costs, but no D and A. So without. So here we have the operation costs, but exclude the D and A. Depreciation and amortization are for us in the next segment. Here we can have the first line, which is operating expenses, and this is the first level. Let's try to make it in the same step. Here we have the first indicator, which is the Ebitda, which basically is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. That's why it's the biggest, let's say, profit level. Here we'll have the sum of gross margin and operational costs. So this is the next level. Here we can have, in some cases, we can find the contributive margin. And this mainly is the same situation, but it refers to the costs from the level of our employees, which are direct in the process of sales. So after we have this sum, we will find the first results. It's contributive margin, or Ebitda. Next, we have D&A, which are our costs with depreciation and amortization. And then we have the first profit earnings before interest and taxes. Here, we can have support costs, or you can find like general support general and administrative costs. And then you will have the operating results, which is near EBIT. So here we have sum from Ebitda and D&A, and we can copy and paste the formula. Good. Now, it's important to know that D&A represents mainly the same category, the same costs, but the term of this process can refer to different things. If we step into the details, you'll find that amortization is for intangible assets, and the depreciation term is used when you have tangible assets. So this is the main difference between them, and that's why some companies use only D and others use only A. You know, it depends, because many companies worldwide use D and A. Good. Going forward, we'll see that we have another category here. It's financial costs, or finance expenses, or it can be searched into different terms. But for us, first, we will have interest and taxes. And here, we will have the final cost, and into that last row, we will have net profit or net income. Here you can have the first line, which is interest. Then you can have the next step of the version 2 Pnl, which can be the result, the final result, net result, before taxes. And finally, after taxes, you can have the net profit. And here we have the main structure. Here is the other structure that can be also fine into the worldwide finance. So we have gross margin, Ebitda, EBIT, and net income. And here you can find the operating expenses divided separately, introducing support costs, which are basically, in our case, the supporting costs and operating. Oops, here we have an error. And operating expenses are into these operational costs. But we also excluded D&A in order to present you the main P&L format, because it's important to know the difference between Ebitda and EBIT. Now that we have the main two formats are the P&L globally. For sure, you will find also others, but mainly if you deal with this, it's okay. Good. We will go forward, and here we'll have V of P&L, and we will try to create a separate sheet and put P&L. Here on C5, as we saw earlier, we have net sales, COGS, gross margin. So we will try to copy this. Okay. And start to play with it. In the next video, we will try to populate this P&L with figures from our database. But to summarize, we have the net sales, so the biggest level for our revenues. Then we have COGS, and the result of them is gross margin. Next, we have the operating costs, which will bring us to Ebitda. Then we have some costs with depreciation and amortization, which will bring us to EBIT. And finally, we can start to play with the next and the last level, which is linked to interest and taxes. And here we can write financial costs. Because sometimes, as you can see earlier, we have interests, then we have taxes after the next level. But for us, it's more simple and it's easy to use this one. And we will write here net profit. So this will be our main structure. And we will play with this. So in the next video, we will start to populate and show the formulas that can help us to bring the necessary content from our P&L. Thanks for watching. So see you in the next video.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this course. If you want to watch the rest of the course, the link is down below. Not only do we get the access to this course, but you'll get access to a lot of other courses in a huge bundle, and it's on sale today. So buy before the sale ends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.